Hi YouTube. Today I wanted to review some apps for smartphones that I think can be useful in an emergency, preparing for an emergency, for preppers in general. So let's get started. Let's see, I hope this will turn out on the video. So I spoke separately about ICE in case of emergency in general. On your phone there is an app called ICE Standard, and this is actually a blank one, so it doesn't have my information on it. But it lets you enter who you are, your address, and also put a picture, your emergency contacts, medications, allergies, insurance information, all kinds of things that can be in your phone. The symbol there, if someone's looking at your phone, they can find it there. You can also set it as your lock screen, and they explain how to do that within the app, and it's a free app. So that's one thing. AirNow, which is an EPA app, and I'll put in not my zip code, but this is for New York City, and it gives you air quality index from the EPA. So the current index for both, I think PM is particular material, and ozone. Forecast for later today. It also explains what the numbers mean, and there are maps that give you wider information. So if you're interested in day-to-day air quality, particularly I think if you live in a city, this could be a very useful app. Next is the Red Cross First Aid app. We'll let that come up. And they have several different options. There's a Learn section that gives you all kinds of things. Here's heart attack. That gives you information about it. They have videos to teach you about it and how to respond. They have a Prepare section, which lists all kinds of different emergencies. Here's a chemical emergency, and they have a before checklist and a during information. Whoops. Sorry, that's not what I wanted to do. They have an emergency section that if something's happening right then, it gives you step-by-step tasks to do and a video if it's helpful. They actually have a test section that if you've been trying to learn what to do for a heart attack, you can take a test to see if you get it right. And a section to help you find the nearest hospital. So that could be a very useful app in an emergency, or to look at, hopefully before an emergency, to learn some. iTriage is another health-related app. I won't do that now. That has, oh, I hope this is centered, that you can see what I'm doing. You can look things up by symptoms. We're seeing all kinds of symptoms. You can look up procedures, conditions, medications. If you want to find out about a medication, it gives you side effects, what it's there to treat, typical doses, all kinds of health-related information. They have hotline numbers. These are national, so there may be some better ones. Health news. So that could be a very useful medical first aid related app. Then Code Red, which I believe there are quite a few different kinds of alert applications. Oh, let's see if I can get out of this. Huh. Well, I downloaded it to an iPod because I'm using my iPhone where I have all my apps to film this. It's a much better camera, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get into it right now. But there are quite a few alert apps that are national but find your location and give you all of your local alerts. Code Red is one, Ping 4 alerts is another. One thing you can do is to look at your state's or city's or town's website, and they often will list the alerts that they are most connected with. So in my area they listed Code Red, Pings 4 alert. iReport is not an alert system, but it's something my city has put together where I can report a hydrant that's still going or all kinds of problems, non-emergency problems, to the city as a way for them to get that information, and then I can follow up and see what they've done about it. So I think it's really useful. There's so many alerts now that will actually give you warning when there's a weather emergency or other kinds of emergency in your area. It will call you on your cell phone, and it's really worth looking into those. Another app is FEMA, and they have information preparing, reporting. They also have resources with information about how to apply for assistance. If you're looking for a shelter, they have current shelters listed right there to help you find things, different kinds of recovery centers if you've had a disaster and need some assistance or help. Let's go back. The scanner, this is to scan police and radio information, again, to keep on top of what's happening. So I guess Chicago is the most popular one. There are currently 433 people listening to it, but you can search for your local information, and it's here and it buffers, and here it is. It's not always very clear, but it still gives you a real source of local information if you're interested in that. Disaster alert. Let it come up. Oh, and again, let's see if they'll let me. Has a world map with disaster either warnings or what's happening around the world. So if you're interested in just finding out what's happening globally in terms of these are natural disasters. In Australia right now, there's a flood watch in Australia and severe weather storm. And there are all kinds of things. So it can be a very interesting application for that. The Hazmat Pocket Guide. All of these are free applications. And I downloaded this because in an emergency, you might encounter on a truck or someplace else these warning signs for chemicals that are just numbers and colors in this diamond shape, and this tells you what they mean. So the rating index in the blue diamond, it tells you what the number means, the flammability one, reactivity, specific. It's just a free app that's sitting on your phone, and if you ever need that information, it's there. And last, the Red Cross has a Shelter View app, which, like FEMA, gives you specific shelters that are currently open. And it will come up on a map. Those are shelters that are current or recently open. You can do it as a list, by state or event. They have news, sort of updates on disasters. The Red Cross also has a whole series of apps around specific types of disasters. I believe tornadoes, earthquakes, to give specific information about that. I decided to just download the more general ones because the First Aid app has that whole section, but just so you know. So these are the emergency apps that I have on my phone that I've found helpful and I thought I would share. Thanks for listening.